Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your weekend roundup where we dive into everything that has happened with Arsenal throughout the week. It's been a crazy week. 2 announcements, a game, a debut, and guess what? Some disappointments as well, as Moussa Diaby is going to be going to Saudi Arabia. But there's no problem with that because we have our major targets already in the bag. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let me know in the comment box below what was your highlight of the week. Was it the announcement of Declan Rice? Was it the announcement of Julian Timber? Was it Kai Havertz's debut? Or was it actually nothing? Because there was that point in time in the week where it was boring, it was absolutely hectic and disgusting that we had not actually done our deals a little bit early in terms of announcement. But that announcement video for Rice, it was absolutely bang on. Let's get into the content. Let's start off with that 1-1 all draw against FC Nürnberg, where Kai Havertz actually did his debut. Now, it's a game that Arsenal literally didn't perform very well. We are trying to come back to fitness. The boys are trying to come back to fitness. I don't think there is any other club that is actually doing more than what we are actually doing. I've seen Man United have more games under Erik ten Hag in preseason. It's going to be the ruthlessness that actually decides which team is going to be better next season. Man United have gone with 8 games in preseason. Arsenal have gone with around 6-7, which is also not actually bad. The FC Nuremberg game, 1-1. Arsenal took the lead with Bukayo Saka having a very, very good strike, and then they equalized later on. I think we created a couple of chances. Balogun had a very, very good chance. He could have buried that game. And I don't think Mikel Arteta will be disappointed. There were a few positives in there. I think the team is actually coming together. The fitness is coming together. Players like Kai Havertz got to play the first time with the team. And it wasn't the best starting 11. Like, no Martin Odegaard in there. Fabio Vieira played. I thought Fabio Vieira played well in those minutes in the second half. And we are seeing more of Fabio Vieira hugging the touchline, just like Bernardo Silva. Now, when we signed him, I told you we had got ourselves a Bernardo Silva. I don't think he's a number 10. I don't think he's a number 8. He can do all those things, but he resembles so much Martin Odegaard. But the difference between Odegaard and Vieira, in my opinion, is Odegaard is more like a game controller. So you'll give him the ball, and he will either pick it up in very tight spaces, and he will do very, very well. He will also dictate the tempo of the game, and he will also dictate how Arsenal either accelerate or decelerate in terms of going forward and backwards. With Fabio Vieira, I think he can keep the ball very well, but he loves to play in wide areas as shifts into space. He's more obsessed about creativity rather than game control. Now, next season is going to be very crucial, but I'm happy to see him play for the team. Kai Havertz also had his debut. Many people have said it's a quiet one. I think generally the game was a quiet game. I've not done my reactions about that game. I'm very, very sorry. Like, I couldn't find something to talk about the game. Like, just ridiculous. But of course, we'll be doing my reactions to the games that are upcoming in the USA tour. Next up, Arsenal have also traveled today for the USA this Sunday. A couple of players have actually gone with the team, and a couple of players have actually not gone. Nuno Tavares is one of the players that have not traveled, and according to what I've heard from Kaya Kainak, this week we can confirm that Nuno Tavares is not in the plans of Mikel Arteta, and he will be leaving the club as soon as possible. Among other players that have not traveled is Nicola Pepe, who we can confirm as well is not in the plans of the manager. Of course, Nicola Pepe is going to be one of those players that gets out of the door. Thomas Partey has not traveled. Emile Smith-Rowe has not traveled, and players like Cedric Suarez and Albert Sambila-Konga have also not traveled with the team, plus Charlie Patino. The rest of the players have actually traveled, and we expect a lot of starters to be starting games in the USA tour. The big news about Thomas Partey not going there is that he will be joining the side later on together with Emile Smith-Rowe. They're just having a little bit of a longer break, should I say that? But right, we can confirm that the boys are safely there in USA. The highlight of the week for me has been the double announcement within a space of 24 hours. Arsenal announcing Julian Timber and Declan Rice. First and foremost, Arsenal announced Julian Timber first before Rice, and he will be putting on shirt number 12 at Arsenal. He was unveiled to his teammates and to the fans, and it was epic. Now, his announcement video lacked the vibes, but in his interview, which we'll be reacting to on the channel, we have a lot of content to do. He said this is the place to be. He's been looking at Arsenal. He loves Arsenal. He supported Arsenal from right when he was a young boy, just like me. So there is no problem, and there is no reason why he was never going to join Arsenal. So Julian Timber announced as an Arsenal player. But then within 24 hours, Arsenal also announced the arrival of Declan Rice from West Ham after we agreed a deal about £105 million for the player. It makes him actually around sixth most expensive signing done in football. He's among the top 10 most expensive signings in football. Up there you have the likes of Neymar, 200 million, 222 million from Barca to PSG. You have the likes of Kylian Mbappe, 180 million from Monaco to PSG. Then you have the likes of Jack Grealish as well. You have the likes of Enzo Fernandez up there, and then you have the likes of Rice. So he's among the most expensive players ever signed by a football club. I think that was epic. That was epic. The arrival of Rice was really epic this week. It has been one of the moments that Arsenal fans have been eagerly and really strongly waiting for. You can't imagine that Declan Rice has had I think about 20 pieces of content produced by Arsenal. Interview part 1, interview part 2, an interview with Edu, an interview with Mikel Arteta, pictures, arrival. Like, the vibe has been big. Of course, for a big signing, you definitely expect that. Of course, in the same week, of course, as well, Arsenal and West Ham did sign the paperwork. So the guy is going to be, and has traveled actually, with the USA team. Together with Julian Timber. So the announcements of those two deals are absolutely done. This week, we can confirm as well that Thomas Partey is edging closer and closer to an exit away from Arsenal. Now, this is a story that I've covered for quite some time on the channel, and I really hope that someone can slam shut the door of the transfer window. If we can keep Thomas Partey, if we can delay the deal towards the end of the window, it will be absolutely massive. But Thomas Partey has agreed personal terms with the Saudi Arabian club. We believe that Saudi Arabian club is Al Khaleiji. That is what the information I'm getting suggests, that Arsenal's Thomas Partey has actually agreed a deal with Al Khaleiji in Saudi Arabia. Now, Arsenal still asking for around £45 million. I think Al Khaleiji or any other Saudi Arabian club will actually try to pay around 40 to 40, maybe 35 to 40 million pounds. That is where they want to get the deal done. They're looking at him, he's 30. They will give him the wages he wants. They will give him that life-changing contract. But they believe Arsenal should not and will not stand in the way of Thomas Partey. So this week as well, Partey's move away from the club actually edges closer. But, I think at the start, there was some hope that he was going to stay. There was hope that he was actually going to stay because he actually said in his farewell message to Xhaka, that it's going to be tough to see you, not to see you around. It's gonna be tough to seeing you gone, but then it's actually changing. It's a story that is changing every second. With Fabrizio Romano confirming that Al Khaleiji and all Saudi Arabian clubs are actually going to be pushing to sign him this summer. It is going to take a hell of a lot of a fight. It's going to take a hell of a fight for us to keep him at Arsenal. But I still think, and I still reckon, we will keep him. I'm lying. I think he's gonna go, really. I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could tell you that he's gonna stay. I wish I could tell you that I'm confident he's gonna stay. But it's on the contrary, I can tell you that I'm worried he is gonna go, Thomas Partey. But this week, we also had that in the week. We've also had progress with Florian Balogun. I think Balogun is a story that Arsenal want to get done quicker than Thomas Partey's. I think Balogun has actually set the precedent. He's already set the trail where he's going to be next season, and that is not at Arsenal. He prefers to be anywhere else apart from Arsenal, and that has been a huge problem. He's already told Arsenal, his agents, and everyone concerned that my dreams and not to be a second or third player at Arsenal. I'm either starting, I'm either a big striker for them, or I'm gonna go. I think he's actually feeling the effects of having such a very good season, 20 goals in the French League One. Everyone wants him. Milan, Inter Milan, all these clubs, all these big clubs actually want to sign him. His phone is buzzing. His phone is actually, vibrating with lots and lots of messages. So I think he wants to go and make a career and build a name for himself. And I think he's right. He looks at Eddie Nketiah. Eddie will become a winner. He will get a golden Premier League medal. He will get a golden Champions League medal in the next 5 years. But will he be a vital and important part of that team? Probably yes, probably no. Now we saw him in the in the period when Gabriel Jesus picked up an injury. He actually came in and did some good work. But is he the player that Arsenal fans trust, or Mikel Arteta entirely trusts? I'm not really sure. With Kai Havertz signing into the side, there is a possibility that when Gabriel Jesus cannot play as our false 9 or as our number 9, we will see Kai Havertz play in the position more often than not. So Florian Balogun does not want to do that. He doesn't want to follow the footpath of Eddie Nketiah. He prefers to go out there and get 3,000 minutes and above every single campaign. I tell you what, Inter Milan are the club that have actually pounced on him. I thought it would be Milan. I thought it would be AC Milan. But those scumbags do want to keep money for themselves. Of course, they're doing good business, Milan. I really cannot hold them accountable. They're trying to sign many players in different positions with the money they have from Sandro Tonali's sell. But why not sign Balogun? Inter Milan have signed Marcus Thuram. They do have Lautaro Martinez, and now they're going to take Florian Balogun. It's crazy. But Inter Milan this week have shown serious interest in the signature of the young American, and we expect that next week they will ask for final conditions, and they will table a bid close to 40 million euros. This week, Arsene Wenger has also spoken out on the truth why Arsenal didn't spend money in his time. He said simply, we did have the money. And that actually has left me a little bit heartbroken and a little bit remorseful. Actually, hugely remorseful, because I really hung out Arsene Wenger to dry. I wish during that time when we were arguing, when we were in our banter club, when we were in our banter discussions, I protected him more. I wish I protected my manager more then, but I didn't understand the situation. I was a little bit young, of course, but I didn't understand the situation that was going on at the club financially. But today, Arsene Wenger was asked about the signings that Arsenal made this summer, and he said, look, good signings, those are signings that can win you the league, and definitely Arsenal next season must be on the title charge. They will win the championship if they stay focused and they be as serious as they were last season, given the signings they've done. But why we didn't sign players of that caliber, why we didn't sign players of that quality, one reason and one reason alone, we didn't have the money. And I think Arsene Wenger deserves 2 statues at Arsenal. He deserves a statue, right? He deserves a statue for being the only manager to win us, to become invisible. I think that is what Pep Guardiola is trying to achieve, probably in the next campaign. He also deserves another statue for building the Arsenal, we know as we know it. That, to be honest, he deserves 2 statues. The invisible Arsene Wenger and the Arsene Wenger that built the Arsenal we know as we know it. He built the Emirates Stadium. It was under a lot of criticism and under a lot of pressure that he went on to build the foundations that we enjoy today. The foundations that have built and bore fruit that we are enjoying today. Those foundations were laid by Arsene Wenger. But no bad blood between Arsenal and Arsene Wenger. He said, my boys will win the championship next year. They need to stay focused. They've actually gone through a phase of trauma last campaign when they didn't win it. And that is actually enough. There is no question. Next season, if they push again, if they go again, they are going to win. Arsene Wenger has already given us the blessing from the Father. All we've got to do is go out there and pounce and make it happen. Well, in the other rumors as well this week, before we get into the prediction of what will happen next week, Xavi Simons, who has been a very strong Arsenal target, has actually decided to go back to PSG, who have triggered his not release clause, but his buyback option clause in his contract with PSV. So he's gone back to France with Paris Saint-Germain, and his future will be decided later this summer whether he's going to go out on another loan or play for PSG, as they could lose Kylian Mbappe and Neymar. Moussa Diaby, another player that Arsenal have been really keeping tabs on, is also going to go to Al Nassr, as they have tabled a 43 million euro bid for the young French international. There's a problem. There is a problem with Saudi Arabian football. There is a problem with Saudi Arabia. Like, they cannot be signing 30-year-olds and 23-year-olds. Like, there must be some kind of regulation. I don't know. But Moussa Diaby will go to Al Nassr. That is, if a deal can be agreed between Leverkusen and Al Nassr. It's a disappointing week, and just makes me feel bad. Really, really bad. My expectations and what we expect to see next week in terms of transfers and in terms of club activity. Of course, we will have our game on the 20th. It will be on the 20th against the MLS All-Stars. Arsenal will play their first game of the USA Tour. We will play our next game next week. I think it will be against Manchester United on the 23rd. So next week, we could have two games, one against the MLS and one against MLS All-Stars, and one against Manchester United. We will be looking into the fixtures. Next week, we expect a couple of departures to be sorted out as Edu gets back to work. I'll see you right in the next one. Love you all.